Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just coming on here. I'm on my way to pick up my daughter from her dad's, and I wanted to chat with y'all for a second because I have a 2.5-year-old, and she is now in the stage of testing boundaries and finding her independence, and just like seeing who's the boss and who's the leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I the leader? Do I make the rules? I know I'm the princess, but do I get to make these rules? And so that's the stage she's in right now. And so her dad, she was having a moment the other day. I have to remember exactly what happened. She did not want to sit down, I believe. We were eating. She was on the phone with her dad, talking to her dad while she was eating. And she just didn't want to sit down. She didn't want to talk to him on the phone. She was like running away, and I kept telling her to sit down. And so he was like, "You're not in control. Like, you're not in control. She's playing with you. You need to do something about it." That was his response to me. And because she was just all over the place, right? And so I just kind of ignored him a little bit because he does not live in my household. So, he can see a moment, which in my opinion, or my experience, all toddlers have their moments. Like, she's going to have a meltdown because she didn't get what she wants. She's going to try these things, right? I don't automatically shift to, let me go. I don't remember exactly what the situation was. Maybe she was doing something else that she wasn't supposed to be doing, because he was like, "Okay, you're gonna go on timeout." Like, oh no, he was like, "She needs a timeout. Capri, do you want a timeout?" So my response was like, I didn't say anything to him because I didn't want to have that conversation in front of her, especially when she was, testing boundaries. But, like, I gave her a little minute. I asked her like maybe 2 or 3 times to sit down. And then, oh no. So this is what was happening. I don't remember the situation for a second. Okay, so her dad called. Sometimes she does not want to be... Sometimes she just doesn't want to talk to him. But she was like hitting at the phone. "No, leave me alone, Daddy." Like, that's how she was acting. And so I was like, that's not nice. Like, what? And so she got up and was running around. She was screaming at the phone. Like, I don't know where that came from, but that's how she was responding to him. And so he was like, "You're not in control." Like, that was his response. It's like, "You're not in control. She, like, she needs a timeout," or whatever. I don't personally believe in timeouts. And so here's why I say this. This is the point of my whole chat. I don't think... Well, let me finish telling you what actually happened. So I got up. I went to go get her. I calmed her down. I calmed her energy down because she was just all over the place. And I got eye to eye with her. And I was just like, "Capri, look at mommy. Like, you need to take a deep breath." Like, I was instructing her or giving her directions on how to calm herself, right? Before going into, any type of punishment, because punish her for what? She is a toddlers do. It's not like she has the skills to make different choices. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. She doesn't have the skills to make different choices. And so instead of making that a punishable moment, I made it a teaching moment. So I calmed her down, sat her down, calmed her down. I gave her a firm, like, hey, you need to cut this out. You need to calm down, take a deep breath. You know, like, let's get it together here, right? And so when I got eye to eye with her, she knew I wasn't playing. My voice, my tone was firm, but I did not yell. Actually, I lowered my voice a little bit, you know, like it was firm, but it was lower. And I just was like, we are not unkind to people, and you hitting is unkind, and you hitting at your dad is unkind, and that's not how we treat people. That was my response to it. She calmed down. I said, what do you say to your dad? She apologized immediately. I didn't have to coerce her any further. I just was like, what do you say to your dad? She apologized. Then she kind of like calmed down, and you know, I told her, okay, well, eat your food. Once she was calm, it took her maybe like 1 minute to say, Daddy, I'm sorry, on her own, without me prompting her. It almost seemed as if she was reflecting on her behavior, and she was like, okay, like, I'm sorry, for real, like, I was just, you know, having a moment. And so I am saying all of that to say, like, consequences. So there's a lot of, you know, like, we have a lot of different opinions about child rearing. Everyone raises their child differently. Everyone raises their child differently. So when people say, you know, like, okay, I spank my child, I don't judge them, because that's what you know to do. And whether it's working for you or not, I don't necessarily get into that, you know, like, I don't question that. I mean, if you think it's working, then by all means, you know your child, you know the goals you have for your child, you know what you want. Me, personally, I don't want to teach my child to obey. That is not something that I want to teach my child. I don't want to teach my child that, because as humans, right? As humans, we adapt, right? And so when you make punishment a response to behavior, as humans, we adapt to it. So the punishment has to continue to grow and grow and grow, and because children just become accustomed to it. So I don't teach through punishment. I don't parent through punishment. I parent by teaching her how to think. That's my goal, is to teach her how to think. Teach her how to treat people well. Teach her to think about choices, right? My goal is to teach her how to think about choices and how to handle different situations. That is my goal, is to teach her how to think. Yes, she's going to try it, but there's also, and to be clear, to be completely clear, this is not lack of consequences, right? Like, people get it fucked up all the time, or get it messed up all the time, where it's like, oh, you're raising your child to not have any discipline, and you're teaching them that there's no consequences. The world is going to give them consequences. Okay. Yes, the world is going to give them consequences. My job is not to treat my child as the world would treat them. My job is to treat my child or to be a safe space for my child and to teach my child how to be in the world, how to think in the world, and a part of that, teaching them how to think in the world and how to be in the world, is teaching them to think critically, teaching them to understand what consequences are, natural consequences, not to think in a fearful manner. I think a lot of parents, and again, I am not judging, parent your child how you believe you should be parenting your child, but I do not want my child to fear me. I don't want my child to fear me. I want my child to think I'm the safest place that she can go. You know, I don't want her to feel judged by me. I'm not going to judge her choices that she makes. You know, like, I'm still making choices that, you know, I'm like, damn, why did I make that choice? Sometimes I'm still like that as a grown-ass woman. And so I'm not going to reprimand her because that is not my style. What I am going to do is teach her how to be in different situations and scenarios. You know, I want her to be a kind person. So, and I want her to be able to set boundaries with people and respect another person's boundaries. Right? And so I'm teaching her, okay, when someone does something to you, this is how you respond. You speak up for yourself. You know, this is what you do. I'm teaching her to be honest. Hey, like, is that the truth? Is this a truth or is this a lie? Okay, we have to learn integrity. So we're talking about integrity. We're talking about trust. We're talking about, I'm giving her opportunities to be trusted. I am not being punitive when she doesn't necessarily meet my standards when it comes to anything. Trust, when it comes to emotional regulation, when it comes to boundaries. I'm not judging her choices because she is 2.5 and she's learning. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she is, you know, upset at 7 years old and hitting at her dad, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to be punitive or punish her, but I am going to tell her or teach her the consequences of her behavior. Consequences. Okay. This is consequences of your behavior is that you're trying to hurt someone who you love and care about. The consequence is that person is going to feel like you're being unkind to them. Your relationship to that person is going to be affected when you're being unkind to them. And so it might make them sad. It might hurt them. Like, you need to back up. I'm going 80 miles an hour. You're on my ass. You need to back up. Or get over in the next lane. Because I'll slow down to 65. Anyway, so I just brought this up because I think that there are alternatives to the things that we are accustomed to. And I think that if the goal is to teach someone how to be in this world, it should really be around thinking through what it is, you know, thinking through choices, like thinking through it. Like, is this how you want to show up? Because my goal is not, okay, follow law, or you're going to get in trouble. That's not my goal. I'm not raising a child to be obedient. I'm raising a child to be a good person. And sometimes, and that to me is not a good person, is a person who follows law. this is my personal beliefs. These are my personal beliefs. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want her to fear me. I think fear is an emotion that prevents you from being your best and your highest self at any given moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, when people say, you know, a person is a God-fearing person, I do not understand that. Because if anything, God is my safety. God is where I feel the safest, and and that relationship has to be an open and trusting relationship, so that I can go to God with anything and not feel judged and not feel like I'm going to receive backlash for being who I am or making poor choices, you know? So I don't understand that whole God-fearing thing, and I feel the same way about parenting. I feel like I do not want my child to be afraid to come to me about anything. I do not want my child to think, okay, I have to keep this away or I might be punished, because then that gives the people around her that gives other people opportunity to manipulate her. You know, fear creates opportunity for manipulation. And so I don't want her to fear anything. I do not want her to fear anything. I want her, if she makes a choice to do something, I want her to make that choice with a full understanding of the consequences that she will receive, and full acceptance of those consequences. So if she goes out and robs a bank, I want her to be fully devoted to that decision. Okay, you know, in society, this is your consequence for robbing a bank. I don't want her to fear going to jail. I want her to not want to go to jail because she wants to be out in the world. But if she robs a bank, I want her to be like, I'm robbing a bank and I'm okay with going to jail. You know, I made the choice to do this, and I fully and completely understand the consequences.
In 2 miles,
and I did not do it.
Take exit 131 for I-40 West.
I did not do it because I was afraid to go to jail. I did not do it because that is not who I am. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a person that robs. I am a person that makes choices to be integritous. I'm a person that makes choices to treat people well and to work hard to earn the things that I have. So, anyway, my point is that, like, I just don't think that you have to parent using consequences. I mean, not consequences, using punishment. Now, consequences are a given. I give her consequences all the time. I give her choices all the time. So, for example, she's up running around, or give you a better example. She sometimes wants to refuse brushing her teeth. Not with me, with her dad.
3 lanes to take exit 131 for I-40 West
really
toward I-785 North in Greensboro.
That's because she doesn't like the toothpaste that he has. So she's like giving him a hard time. And I was like, well, you need to give her a choice. It's either I brush your teeth or you brush your teeth. Your teeth have to get brushed. So that's a choice that you get to make. You either get to do it or I get to do it. That's a choice you get to make. Your consequence to...
In a quarter mile, use the left 3 lanes to take the ramp to I-40.
What the fuck? Come on now. Don't piss me off. So the consequence to you not doing it yourself...
Use the left 3 lanes
is I'm going to do it for you.
I-40.
Because you have to brush your teeth. That's not a choice.
Continue for 3 miles.
But you do get to choose how it gets done. Right? You get to choose whether you do it or I do it for you. Or like, you know, like if she's in a situation with another child and like say she hits them, the consequence is this is not a situation that you can be in because you are not making it a safe environment for everyone, right? So you are going to be removed from the situation. That is a consequence. I don't necessarily think of it as a punishment.
Toward US 29 North, US 220 North.
Because it's like, okay, well, right now, you're not ready for this. So maybe we can try this later when you're ready for it, but you're not ready for it. I don't want her to be playing and decide she doesn't want to hit somebody because she doesn't want to be removed from the situation. I want her to decide not to hit someone because she knows that that's not how you treat people. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. Actually, I do know that I'm making sense, but I'm just saying, like, I am just not going to parent her in a punitive way. I think as someone that she looks to as a leader and someone she looks to know that and knows that I'm going to keep her safe and I'm going to
in half a mile.
I'm going to keep her safe and I'm going
US
to
29 North, US 220 North.
give her the guidance that she needs, and when I tell her something, she trusts it. She trusts it. You know? She trusts what I'm saying to her to be
Take exit 224, then you'll take the ramp to US
real.
29 North, US
And the
220
reason
North.
why she trusts it is because I've created a safe, calm environment for her. When she is upset and pissed off, even with me,
Take the ramp to US
I give her an
29 North.
opportunity to
Then
be
left
mad at
on
me
East
for whatever
City
reason. I
Boulevard.
took away her toy. I didn't give her what she wanted, whatever. I give her that opportunity to be mad.
Continue on
I
East
talk
City
about, are you
Boulevard for
upset?
3
Are you
miles.
mad? You mad at mommy? Okay, what are you mad at mommy for? We talked through it, right? Okay, we talked through it, but I need you to calm down. I understand that you wanted this, that, and the third, but I need you to calm down. Right now, you can't have it. Whatever it is, right now, you can't have it. I don't necessarily have to explain all the time why she can't have something, but if there's an opportunity for me to explain, I will. You can't have this because it is unsafe. You cannot have this because right now you're not sitting down and it's gonna be a mess, and so I don't want it to be a mess, and whatever it is, I'm more than likely I'm gonna give an explanation. I'm not just gonna be like, no, because I said so. Most of the time. Now, I don't really know of a situation where I would be like, no, because I said so. But if there's ever a situation that comes up where I just have to take the lead on whatever it is, like I gotta make an executive decision, then sometimes it might be no, just because this is the choice that is being made right now. But majority of the time I'm explaining because my goal, again, is to get her to learn how to think. My goal is to get her to learn how choices are made, how to analyze consequences, how to analyze risk, how to pivot when things don't go exactly how you plan them to go, and you know, how to make choices to keep herself safe. And the only way for me to do that is for me to give her opportunities to think through choices. If I'm punishing her, it shuts down her brain. She's in fight or flight mode. When you're in fight or flight mode, your executive functioning is shut down. And so I want to give her opportunities to think through what's happening. I'm telling her before they happen, I'm pre-teaching. So I'm telling you, this is the consequence of whatever it is. Hey, these are the possible consequences. Even when it's like, okay, some of y'all might not agree, but like if she's doing something like trying to jump off something, right? And I see, because obviously I'm the mom, I see that she
In
might
a quarter
fall
mile, turn right onto Murrow Boulevard.
and like get a bump or a bruise or whatever it is. I more than likely, if it's like, you know, she might scrape herself, she might fall a little bit, she's not going to damage anything permanently, like bump her head or something like that. Like if she's climbing up somewhere where she would fall and it might hurt, but it's not too
At the
damaging,
light, turn right onto Murrow Boulevard.
then I'm gonna tell her the consequence of like, hey, you're pretty high up. You could possibly fall and scrape your knee. You could possibly fall and get hurt a little bit and get hurt. I'm explaining that to her. I allow her to make the decision whether she wants to continue to go up higher or whether she's going to come down. Her reaction has always been to make the right decision or to make the decision to keep herself safe. Right? Like,
Go past this light. Then, at
I'm
the
like,
next one, turn left onto East
and the
Friendly
thing is,
Avenue.
before I talk to her, she'll try it. So like, I'll be like, hey, that's hot. I'm telling you that's hot. Just to let you know, you can try it if you want to, obviously, within reason. Let me say that, within reason. So
At the
if
light,
she's gonna
turn
like
left onto East
scold
Friendly
herself, it's gonna be, no. But if the water is running a little bit warm, hot, and I know she's not gonna get burned, then I'm gonna, hey, that's hot. You can touch it if you want to. She'll be like, oh, I'm gonna try. You can touch it if you want to, but I'm just letting you know that it's hot, so you might burn yourself. And she always makes the decision
light,
to
turn
not
right.
touch it because she is making the decision, not me. She is making the decision. She understands that this might be a possible consequence.
At the light, turn
And
right
so,
onto North Church Street.
that is how
Then Miriam P. Brenner Children's Museum will be on the right.
That is how I have to use the potty so bad. That is how I have chosen to parent. And so, yeah. Where can I go pee? Oh my God. Where can I go pee? All right.
Miriam P. Brenner Children's Museum is on the right.
All right. What is this? Is this a library? Yes, it is. I knew it was a library. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, guys.